that we're in the year 2022 and water hardly one near the pipe. Now them can't tell how we, in order to get a job, I must take the job. I understand the vaccine is a good thing and all that, but I just hate the fact that it's mandated. It's my body, it's my choice. I shouldn't be denied a job, education or benefits because the choices I make for my body. For me, this time, personally, the UPP is the right choice because they are the party of choice. I just feel like people.
My father died when I was just 5 years old. My mother came from 𝘾𝘼𝙋𝙍𝙎. She had 5 young mouths to feed, and she toiled on her sewing machine to make ends meet. She was a strong woman who taught us right from wrong. And even though she struggled, the choices she made put us on the right path. I made the choice to work hard, play by the rules, and get an education. I had a number of opportunities, but I chose to return to Antigua and inspire the next generation. I taught at the Antigua Grammar School, and it's here that I saw firsthand how education transforms lives. I made the choice to get into politics because of the lack of resources that I saw in our schools. I saw how our teachers and families struggled whilst an elite few got ahead. When the people granted us the opportunity to serve in government, we had a lot of work to do. As Minister of Finance, I helped to clean up the rot of 30 years of one-party rule. We saw our country through the global financial crisis and the Stanford collapse. Through all of that, we introduced the school meals program, the school uniform program, and laptops for children. While we were not perfect, no one is perfect but Almighty God. We worked day in and day out to defend the nation and put people first. Today, I see too many families struggling for a lack of jobs and the mental stress that comes with it. The cost of living is out of control. And for too many of us, water is still not readily available. And our needed pension checks are not coming on time. While the elite few did well, the ABLP denied you the right to choose what you put in your body. Whilst we believe in vaccines, we don't believe it's the responsibility of government to control your bodies. We will bring an end to all the mandates. This election is about choice, and we believe that we are the right choice because we give you the choice.
I just feel like people not understand me. I don't want to even give me a chance. Go to school, I have skill. I'm a hard worker, but there's just not enough jobs out there. The economy is so bad that I'm ashamed to say that we're in the year 2022 and water hardly one near the pipe. Now them can't tell how we, in order to get a job, I must take the job. I understand the vaccine is a good thing and all that, but I just hate the fact that it's mandated. It's my body, it's my choice. I shouldn't be denied a job, education or benefits because the choices I make for my body. For me, this time, personally, the UPP is the right choice because they are the party of choice. I just feel like people.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Captain's Corner. I am 𝘾𝘼𝙋𝙏𝘼𝙋, and I'm here with the Captain, Harold Lovell. Good evening.
Well, good evening.
How are you?
Oh, I'm very well, fighting fit.
Fighting fit. We normally start off with you telling us, give us a recap. I know you had a busy Easter weekend. What has been happening?
Yes, well, the Easter weekend, I must say I'm very proud that the party had several activities. On the Sunday in City East, we had a kite making and a kite flying fun day. Well supported, lots of children, which was the whole idea, bring the children out on Easter Sunday. And a good time was had by all. And we were able to partner with an individual from the constituency who was having what is now becoming very popular in Antigua, a sound clash with the different cars. And so after we finished the kite flying and the kite making, then we went over then to all the different cars that were lined up, and they put their speakers on the top, and there was a prize for the best sounding car, best bass and best mid-range and all this sort of thing. So it was a place where all the action was on Sunday. So that was a happy day, Sunday. We had lots of fun. And then on Monday, of course, Brother Jonathan Joseph, he had the opening of his branch office, lovely branch office over there at Wenner Road. Just want to big up Brother Jonathan and his team, the chairman, Brother Leon George, and all the other members who helped to make this possible. This is what we need to really move the party forward. So I just want to say to all of you who really made that day such a special day. The food was delicious, and the proceedings went very smoothly. And so we were able to bring out lots of people over to St. Mary's North on Wenner Road. And then we left from there and we went over to York's, the York's basketball court, where Sister Pearl Quinn, she was having her fun day, and Bounce Castle and other attractions for the young people. There were opportunities for persons to come and sell, and she provided an opportunity for persons from within the constituency to make $1 or $2. So all of that is just good stuff. So Monday was also a very good day, very tiring, but all in all, very good day. Of course, I have to tell you, I went to church on Easter Sunday.
Well, that's very good. That's very good.
I worship at the St. John's Cathedral, so I was obviously happy to go there. I went there at 6:15.
Okay, very good. So it sounds like it was a packed weekend.
It was a packed weekend.
Okay, very good. Okay, before we start and look at the local politics, coming out today, we hear of the situation that's happening in St. Kitts Nevis, the Team Unity Coalition. The coalition might no longer be a coalition. Let's talk a bit about what are your impressions as to what is happening there? Just for a minute or two.
St. Kitts is a very interesting place for all of us. It's just next door.
Yes.
And the politics in St. Kitts is always very exciting. And it was amazing to see what they were able to achieve in terms of the Team Unity and the coalition government. It was something that we watched very closely. In 2015, when they formed the coalition, they were able to pull together 3 parties, and then it was continued when they held their elections in, I think it was 2019.
Yes.
And at that time, you had the People's Action Movement, PAM. They won 4 seats. Then you had the Concerned Citizens Movement in Nevis. They won 3 seats. And then the Labour Party, they won 2 seats. So of the 11 seats, sorry, you had the People's PLP, People's Progressive Labour Movement, or is it the People's Labour Movement? Yes, they were able to take 2 seats, and the Labour Party took 2 seats. So in that 11 seats, you had 4, 3, 2, 2. Unfortunately, and I have to say unfortunately, because it's always good when you can have teams of parties coming together. I think, it makes for diversity, and it's a good thing. However, look at what happened. It appears as though the Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, is not keen to stick to an agreed position. And the agreed position, I understand it from my sources, is that he would have demitted office by midway through the second term, which is this term.
Yes.
So that should be taking place this year. Well, it seems as though he doesn't want to move. And the others have raised a number of concerns with him in addition to that. And today, 7 of the 11 members, that's the members of the People's Action Movement, PAM, and the Concerned Citizens Movement from Nevis, they wrote a letter to the Governor General saying that they no longer have any confidence in Honorable Timothy Harris. So it seems as though, I'm not sure exactly what the provisions in the St. Kitts Constitution would be, but I believe what they would be seeking to achieve is for Mr. Timothy Harris to be removed as Prime Minister, rather than for the entire government to come down. Because, you know, the person who holds the position of Prime Minister is that person who commands the support of the majority of members in the House of Assembly. And as you know, in St. Kitts, they do not have a Senate and a House of Representatives. In St. Kitts, they have what's called a unicameral legislature, one legislative chamber. And then they have 11 elected members. The Attorney General, unless he's elected, he automatically sits in their assembly.
I think he's called ex officio.
Ex officio. And then you have another 3 members
of the Senate
sit as senators. 2, I think, appointed by the Prime Minister and 1 appointed by the Leader of the Opposition. So that's how their House operates over in St. Kitts. And here we have a government which was making good strides, because I believe a lot of people were very impressed with some of the achievements of the coalition government in terms of being able to offer civil servants good packages. And also during the COVID pandemic, they were able to reach out to their people and offer relief. But there we are.
Yeah.
It's
a space to watch.
It's a space to watch. And it seems as though he will certainly, whatever happens, whether the whole government comes down or just the Prime Minister, I think one thing is certain. Timothy Harris will not be Prime Minister much longer in St. Kitts. I believe the person who is likely to take over from him is the Honorable 𝘾𝙼𝙋𝙍𝙉,
Yes.
who is currently the Deputy Prime Minister and the leader of the People's Action Movement, PAM.
Okay. Okay, so that's just, you know, being current with what's
next
happening
door,
just
knowing
next
what's
door.
happening,
Just next door, just a skip and a hop over. But we come back home and we have our own issues here dealing with. And I think top of the list, the UPP has been blamed for so many things. And the latest thing that the UPP is being blamed for is that we have placed or have saboteurs in the APOA and causing, according to the Prime Minister, to use his explanation, the water problem to be at the situation that it is right now. I would love for you, first of all, even before responding to such a criticism, and the party put out a press release on it today, remind us, why are we, in your estimation, why are we in the situation we are in now in terms of our water crisis?
Yeah, I would say...
And I say crisis.
It's a crisis, and I'm glad you used that word. There is a water crisis where I believe there could have been a water problem. I think most people would have been able to live with a water problem where there might have been some slight disruptions here and there, given the challenges. But what we have is a crisis where there are communities that have not seen a drop of water, in some cases days and in some cases weeks. That's totally unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. We have a situation where a government has dropped the ball, and they've been blaming everybody, blaming everything. They blame leakage. They try to tell us that the problem was caused by leakage. And that you had, I think at one point they said 40% of the water going through the pipes were leaking. Now, common sense can tell you that is ridiculous. There's no way you could have 40% of your water leaking and everybody in Antigua not see leaks springing up all over their neighborhoods, communities, down almost every street. I mean, it is just use your common sense and think of that statement, that 40% of the water going through the pipes is leaking out. It's ridiculous. That was an excuse that was put up to hide the fact that the reverse osmosis plants are not performing. And they're not performing because of negligence, not performing because of mismanagement, not performing because of poor leadership. That's the bottom line. Now, here we are. Antigua and Barbuda has suffered from periodic drought over a period of time. We know that. There was a drought situation just about 2001, 2002. I think it tailed off about 2003. Towards the tail end of our administration, we began to experience drought conditions once again. And we immediately took steps to address the drought conditions by relying more on desalination, on the reverse osmosis plants, taking water from the sea and distilling it into fresh water. And in doing so, we got assistance from the Venezuelan government, and we were able to construct several water tanks in Liberta, the Patterson's area, in Buckley's, in Collins, in St. Philip, and those were the main ones. Also, we were able to maintain the other storage tanks. There are 2 big storage tanks up at Crabs, each with a capacity of 500,000 gallons. And for over a year now, one of those tanks has been out of commission. So not only is that tank out of commission, the one up at Crabs, but all the tanks that I just mentioned, for 8 years this administration has been in government, and they have not connected those tanks. You know, I asked around people who would know, and it is amazing that the answer that almost every one of those persons gave, and this includes people who work within the organization, why was this never done? Why weren't those tanks ever connected? And you know what they said to me? Because UPP put them there. Now, I would hate to believe that that is the case. But I can find no rational reason that an administration sits down with all these empty tanks. And I have to commend Brother George Wenner. He went and he did a video documentary on these empty tanks. And who would believe that in a situation where we have no water, you have children who are affected, you have the elderly who are affected.
We went through a pandemic where water was important.
We went through a pandemic where people are called upon to wash their hands, no water. You have situations where offices have to close down early, disrupting government services. Schools have had to be dismissed early because there's no water. And we had 5 or so empty tanks sitting there, which could have been used to fix the problem, at least, if not totally, bring relief. It would bring relief because what you do, you pump the water in the night when there is low consumption of water. You pump the water up to those tanks, fill them up, and then in the day, in addition to the other sources that you have where you'll be pumping water through the reverse osmosis system going through the pipe, you also have water that you could feed down in your distribution pipes from those tanks into the communities. Now, none of that was ever done. And I'm saying that that is not just ordinary negligence. You have to almost say that is criminal negligence because the hardship that it imposed on people and exposed people to, it's just unforgivable. So they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball because they did not maintain the reverse osmosis plants. You've heard me say time and time again that all the big hullabaloo that was made about the plant that was taken over from SEMCORP, it dropped from 4.5 million gallons a day to 2.1 million gallons a day. So that wasn't just because of the age of the plant. The plant had to be maintained. They had to provide funds for the maintenance of the plant. All of a sudden now, you hear that they have found
$1.2 million to replace the worn membranes. So where was this money all the time? 8 years they couldn't find $1.2 million, and in 8 days they find $1.2 million because an election is coming. So you see, it's not about people. It's not about addressing the needs of people. It is simply about hustling for an election. And I'm saying that it is one of the most disgraceful failures of any administration. And what makes it worse, they're now saying that the workers at APUA who are sabotaging it.
And what is your response to that?
My response and the response of the United Progressive Party is that the Prime Minister should apologize to the workers at APUA. You have workers in that organization who are working diligently. Many of them would complain that they're overworked and underpaid. And instead of showing some appreciation for the work that they do, he starts to blame workers and say that they are the cause of the mismanagement and the poor performance of the government in providing water for the people of this nation. He should apologize, and the people of Antigua and Barbuda should condemn him for passing the buck. I mean, you're the leader of the country. How can the leader of the country stoop so low? When you have a government, you elect a government to deal with the major problems, including the supply of utilities to the people in the nation, water, electricity. That's your responsibility as a government. And when people don't get those things as they expect, you have to man up. You have to say, I'm sorry, I failed. You can't then turn around and say, oh, it's not my fault. It's the workers. They're the ones who did it. It's not me. Oh, it is a sad day in this country when a prime minister stoops so low.
But the silence of the minister responsible for APUA speaks volumes because it is his workers who are being attacked.
His workers are being attacked, and he has not stepped up to say a word in their defense. He too must be condemned along with Prime Minister Gaston Brown, because he, more than anyone else, should bear the brunt of the blame for what has happened. He was given a ministerial portfolio which includes supplying regular potable water to the people. He has failed. And, you know, to be quite honest, I believe that he's out of it. I believe so. When I look at him, I don't even know if he knew about the tanks. He is out of it. And we have a country that is being run by people who really have no clue about what is going on and what they're doing. They have been completely negligent, busy fattening themselves and getting into enterprises to secure their economic futures. But the business of the people has been neglected, and that is clearly the case. And I think that it is Robin Yearwood who should also be hanging his head in shame. At least he did not blame the workers. But I think he has a responsibility. Talk up for your workers, man. And a lot of them come from his constituency. Talk up for your workers. Don't allow the Prime Minister to besmirch their characters in this way and to accuse them of things which obviously is not their fault.
We're due our first break, but when we come back, I want for your reaction. In addition to us having the water crisis that we're experiencing now, we're hearing talks of increased water rates. I want to hear your response to that when we come back. But we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
But us feel like people not understand me. I don't want to even give me a chance. Go to school, my hard skill. I'm a hard worker, but there's just not enough jobs out there. The economy is so bad that I'm ashamed to say that we're in the year 2022 and water hardly won near the pipe. Now them can't tell how we, in order to get a job, I must take the job. I understand the vaccine is a good thing and all that, but I just hate the fact that it's mandated. It's my body, it's my choice. I shouldn't be denied a job education or benefits because the choices I make for my body. For me, this time, personally, the UPP is the right choice because they are the party of choice.
It's time to join the family at the People's Cooperative Credit Union Limited. We offer savings accounts, deposits, fixed deposits, loans, among other related services. You can even become a shareholder by purchasing a minimum of 50 shares at $5 per share. Membership is super easy and convenient. Just visit our newly opened credit union building on Upper Newgate Street, Monday to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. with proof of ID and address, along with $15 to cover registration and passbook. And you'll be set and on your way. For further information, call 462-8888 or 727-2285. People's Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Today, tomorrow, together.
And we say welcome back to the Captain's Corner. Now, Harold, before we went to the break, we were talking about the situation of water and APUA. But in spite of all that we have been suffering, everyone has been impacted by this water crisis. The Prime Minister is now suggesting that after the elections, consideration will be given to increasing water rates.
And when you hear things like that, you know that these people, they are totally insensitive. They have no feeling. Their conscience is numb, as though they took some sort of anesthetic. The only word to describe it is wickedness, pure wickedness. You can't give people regular water, and you already talking about you're going to raise prices. Before you even fix the water problem, you're talking about increasing the cost of water. I'm saying it is unconscionable for him to even put that on the table. It is wicked for him to even think about that at this time. The only thing he should be thinking about right now is how he's going to get regular water to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Those words should not even come out of his mouth. Anybody who have a conscience, they wouldn't do that. The man has no conscience. It's all about him, his family, and his close friends that he will set up. He has no use and no love for the people of this nation. And if nothing else, that proves it. Just like he was talking the other month, a few months ago, his ministers hearing public servants calling out for a little more money, for back pay that is owed to them. Hearing pensioners bawling that they can't get their pensions.
Overtime in some cases.
Overtime money is owed to people. And he is talking about cabinet ministers want increase. These people have got to go? Imagine in the context of that. I mean, who does that? Why would you even think of that? It shows that they believe that they have now arrived and they have no use and no feelings for the people of this nation. And you know, this last thing that you mentioned, and then accusing the workers, you know, of sabotage and so on. These are things that demonstrate that they really have no love for people. They are all about themselves. They don't take responsibility. It's never their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. Somebody else is always doing it. And then they have set their goon squad on the loose now. And I heard some radio clips with one of their mouthpieces, one of their goons. I think it's somebody who forged some certificates. It was during our time when we were in government, and he had to be thrown out of the system. Because this is somebody who was caught forging with forged documents. You know, came up, signed by Chancellor. When you check it, no Chancellor name so. Came up with copies of certificates that had nothing to do with any qualification. Total fake forgery. and you have this person on radio, and he's out there as the goon squad leader, and he's saying, oh, the workers out there, you have to check them out. They're sabotaging, and we have to get rid of them. Imagine that. Eh? That's what this country has come to. But fraud, a self-confessed fraud who was in the teaching system with fake documents, who had to be thrown out. He's now saying to people that the workers at APUA must lose their jobs.
But I'm concerned as to what this will do to the morale of the staff at APUA and the output that we are expecting them to do under such trying circumstances.
Oh, I mean, how can you do your best when the leader of the country is accusing you of undermining the system? How can you produce your best? So, it is clear that he has no love for the people, the workers, and I just want to say that the United Progressive Party, that we are mindful of what has been said, and I just want to say to the workers at the APUA that the United Progressive Party, when the time comes, when we take the reins of government, they can be assured that they will get respect. And that is one of the things that we are talking about in our campaign. Respect. One of the main words that we use in our campaign is respect. Because one of the things that has happened under this administration led by Gaston Brown is there's total disrespect for everyone, especially workers. He disrespects workers, he disrespects the Barbuda people, he disrespects everybody. And we guarantee that a UPP administration will respect the workers of this nation when the time comes and we form the government once again. Good.
I want us to move on quickly to another announcement that came in the last few days. The 500 homes in 500 days is far away from its mark. And we're now hearing that there is a housing project for people who are working or earning less than $3,000 a month. I'm not sure if you understand what is being offered, but as someone actually said, it's a wattle and daub house.
And it's all wattle and
all wattle and no daub.
Yeah.
Explain to us what you understand this to be saying.
It's another insult that he's showing in the faces of the people. Another disrespect, total disrespect, that he's telling people that he's going to give them a shell. And they must do the plastering, they must do the tiling, they have to put in all the fixtures and plumbing and so on. Now, who does that? I mean, where in the world you see anybody doing that? And I want to contrast that with what the UPP is talking about. Our program is a program of rent to own. And this is a very exciting program. And I want to say that to everybody. This is a very exciting program. And we will utilize all the different techniques and measures, materials that are durable, but which are not expensive. We will utilize also building structures where we believe that the time has come for us to begin to build modern apartment complexes. Modern apartment complexes. And some people, would complain that, oh, some of these apartment complexes will be run down. But an apartment complex does not have to be run down. When you look at a hotel is sometimes 2, sometimes 3 stories. It's well kept. It's all about maintenance. You go to advanced countries, and people are utilizing the limited land space. And if we want to reduce the cost of construction for homes, we have to begin to build up. That's just a fact. So that instead of having 3 different houses on 3 different pieces of land, you have basically 2 or 3 on 1 piece of land. So it's 1 foundation, that's going to reduce cost. It's 1 roof, that's going to reduce cost. And you use materials that we will source, we will save or spare no effort in getting the best materials for the best prices. Help the private sector to source these materials and make certain that our people can enjoy rent-to-own homes. And we say we'll start at $900 and we work up from there. And the $900 per month, we know that's manageable. But you pay over a period of time until such time as you can completely pay off the money that it would have cost to build the house. And so at $900, if you pay it off in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, however long it takes you to pay it off, little by little, you pay off the amount that it is.
The mortgage.
The mortgage.
Yes,
It's like a mortgage.
Yes.
Where you pay that, which would be equivalent to your rent, and over a period of time, you own it. This is how you're going to help people. And in helping people, we will allow our people to live in dignity, in circumstances and surroundings that are clean, well-kept, well-maintained. And this is the future, we believe, of low-cost and low-income housing in Antigua, because telling somebody that because they earn less than $3,000 a month, that all that they are entitled to is some concrete blocks, and that's it, and they must now do the rest. You're putting a burden on people's backs. People are already struggling. And when you do it that way, people, you have to find money to buy the cement, for the plaster, you have to buy your tiles, all of those things. That's not fair to people. And what you're going to have, if that happens, because I don't think that's going to come off the ground, because that, I'm sure, is just another desperate bluff that he's now pulling out of the hat, because he knows that his days are numbered. And so he's now pulling this all wattle and no daub out of the hat as a disrespectful kick in the pants
to excite,
of the people of
excite
Antigua.
the people somewhat.
Well, I don't think it has excited anybody, because I have not heard one person who's excited. The only excitement that it has caused, it has made people excited to get rid of Gaston Brown and the Antigua Labour Party. That's the only excitement it has created.
So you're suggesting then that the rent to own, can you say that
Rent to own, yes.
it's one of the manifesto
That will
promises
be
of
in
the
the
UPP?
manifesto. It will be one of our signature programs as we develop the housing stock in Antigua, where we feel that our people deserve to live in better conditions, and we would never give to our people a piece of a structure that's all concrete, and we say, you earn less than $3,000 a month.
Go finish it.
So this is all that you are entitled to. That's all. Because you don't earn $3,000 a month, take this unfinished piece of concrete, and the rest is up to you. It's disgraceful. It's disrespectful. And I have no doubt that the people will punish the Antigua Labour Party when the time comes.
There's so many things I want to talk about, but quickly, we had the conversation about the fire trucks several weeks ago, and the state that we're in, because it seems as if everything now is crisis stage. Have you had any updates in terms of arrival of the new or the not so new fire trucks?
Not up to now. And I think it was about 6 weeks ago.
Probably, or yeah,
or
more than a
that.
month, more than a
More
month
than
ago.
a month ago, and they said in 2 weeks' time, more fire trucks are coming. They're bringing 2 fire trucks in 2 weeks. Well, over a month has gone now. So this is like the 500 homes in 500 days, you know.
The reason why I asked that too, because we have had fires since that announcement.
Oh, yes.
And there are situations that you have 2 fires burning simultaneously. And I'm also concerned because of the dry weather conditions that can spark, you know, a lot of fires around the country. So it is becoming a worrying state now as to the state of fire tenders on island.
Of course, of course. I mean, you take areas like the Buckley's area, the area going into Liberta, the hill slopes in the Benders Valley, often affected by fires. And you have fire tenders who come out there. Sometimes you have 2 fire tenders that have to be there in order to control those fires. Now, there's nothing. I mean, there was a fire just recently in that general area, and they couldn't even send a fire tender. And it was just by the grace of God that the whole thing just burnt out, and eventually it didn't really affect life or property in any serious way. As you said, if we have a problem where you have 2 or more fires, you have to be relying on people like Echo. He had to come to a fire recently with his water truck. You have, I think, one of the Chinese companies. They had to come to the scene with their fire truck. Somebody else who had a private fire truck had to come to the scene with their fire truck. This is what Antigua's come to.
So we are basically living on the brink as it is now.
In 2022, this is what Antigua's come to, where you have to be relying on people with their private water truck to come and help you out fire, when we're paying taxes and they can't provide us with adequate fire trucks to out the fire. Never in the history of this country has this desperate state of affairs existed. That's why I said I have to go, because they are a plague on this nation. They are a blight on the economy and the society.
And in addition to that, we have now, you touched on it earlier, the whole industrial climate that has changed, but I want to hold that for a little later when we come to talk about the climate, industrial climate. There was also talks today, came out today in the cabinet notes, that the cabinet is eyeing another investor for Jolly Beach. Jolly Beach workers have been sitting and waiting all these years to have word as to payment, their payment. This new prospect, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, what some people do, they start to whistle, right? Who can whistle? Hum.
Okay, hum a tune.
Because let's say we've heard this before. You know, we heard 500 homes in 500 days. Failure.
Nothing.
We heard project at Willoughby Bay. Failure. We had project at Marble Hill. Failure. We had project out at, which is here? Oh Lord.
There's so many.
The one over by Yepton's. Failure.
𝘾𝙼𝙋𝙍𝙍.
Failure. I mean, look, it's all failure. And they have to just admit it. They have no record to stand on. It's all failure. So no, just by the way, don't you remember that in November of last year, they came to the people and said they had an investor from Holland who was going to invest $300 million in a hotel project.
Yes.
They said it 2 times. And then they say it again. That's it. Give you that. Another super
Munch on that for
another
now.
super lie. Hold on that. That hold you for the Christmas. And then after Christmas, nothing. Forget about that. So now they come. Not 300, they drop one. They drop one, not 300 million now 200 million. So they now have an investor for 200 million. I'm saying, look, the old man used to tell me, go and tell that to the Marines. Go and tell that to the Marines.
Is it a case where investors no longer have confidence in this government?
That is the issue. That whole Jolly Beach issue. Lennox Weston came to the country just a few weeks ago and he said that they were talking to several persons in the private sector to take over Jolly Beach and that they were unable to do so. And that is the government who would now be seeking to develop Jolly Beach and that they're borrowing this money on the international market and they were going to do Jolly Beach as government. And now they're telling us about MOU for 200 million. You know, it's just a pack of lies. They just give you that to hold on to. This should maybe hold us till, you know, another few weeks, and then they come with another lie to try and sweeten the pot. However, I think people are now up to them. People are up to them. People are tired of them. People are fed up of them. And people want to see a new administration in this country.
We're due a break now, but I want, when we come back, we talk a bit about the industrial climate in light that in the next week or so, we'll be celebrating Labor Day in Antigua and Barbuda. And I know that the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union has invited the UPP to join them in the celebrations for this year's Labor Day. So I want for us to talk a little bit about that when we come back after the break. So we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back with more on Captain's Corner.
Action time again! Monday, 2nd May is Labor Day in Antigua and Barbuda, and workers are making their voices heard. Enough is enough! Join the Antigua Barbuda Workers Union and the United Progressive Party, along with thousands of workers, as we celebrate Labor Day under the theme, Workers Have No Confidence in This Government. We deserve better! Minimum wage and salaries remain at the bottom of the barrel, while gas prices prices and cost of living gone sky high. Still, no severance pay for 𝘾𝘼𝙋𝙍𝙍, Jolly Beach and cast workers, and public servants can't get their back pay either. Unemployment and underemployment high. Still, no adequate water. Our pipes are almost dry. We, the workers, have no confidence in this government. We deserve better. Come be inspired by our union representative. Come parade the streets of St. John's with us. Let's send a clear message that workers have no confidence in this government. We deserve better. Join the march.
Action time again.
Made it abundantly clear that we have made it abundantly clear that no one, absolutely no one in our country will be vaccinated if they do not wish to be. We uphold that right and respect it.
You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie?
We come and vote them out. 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 We gonna vote them out. We come and 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 vote them out.
If you've lost all confidence in this government, it's time to shout it out loud. If you know you deserve better,
Action time again.
if you've lost all confidence in this government, it's time to shout it out loud. If you know you deserve better, then now is the time to stand and be counted. The Antigua-Barbuda Workers Union, in association with the United Progressive Party, present a unified workers rally on Thursday, 28 April at Baker's Corner in the Point, starting at 7:30 p.m. The rights of every worker must be respected. The voice of every citizen must be heard. The time to react is now. Cost of living and gas prices gone sky high, while salaries and minimum wages remain low. 𝘾𝘼𝙋𝙍𝙍, CAS, and Jolly Beach workers are still waiting for their severance. And back pay for public servants is nowhere in sight. Workers have absolutely no confidence in this government. We deserve better. Come out on Thursday, 28 April, 7:30 p.m. at Baker's Corner in the Point, and let's rally together for the future of Antigua and Barbuda. Let's redeem this land. Let's rescue the soul of this nation.
Welcome back to the final segment of on the Captain's Corner for tonight. And for those of you who are on Facebook, yes, we have been following the discussion. And if you have a question that you'd like to pose to the Captain, you're more than free to do so. But you wanted to make a point on the fire before we go on to talk about Labor Day.
Yes, I mean, it was remiss of me not to have mentioned the stellar role played by some members of the Spanish community here in Antigua. There is a man that called himself Love to Help. And we have to big him up because you don't see him featured on ABS. The man should be getting a national award. But they don't feature him on ABS. They don't talk about him. But what happens, he has a private water truck. And the fire department, they call him. Every time there's a fire, they call him. You can imagine that? So maybe people should get his number and call him
first.
Because with his fire truck, he has the power nozzle. And he is the fire they had recently up behind by Hadid.
Yes.
He was there with the power nozzle out in the fire. And other fires, he's been there. And he will tell you that whenever there's a fire, the fire department is calling him. I want to say it again. This is what Antigua come to. Really? That we're paying taxes. All of us have grown up here. We know. You never had to see the situation before in Antigua, where you have to call a Spanish man now to out fire. That's what Antigua's come to. And all of them boasting out things so good, all of them doing so well. And the people are suffering, people's houses are at risk. Oh Lord, I pray that we don't have any more fires in this country. Because look at what people are exposed to. That should there be a bad fire, oh, I pray that that would never happen. But should that happen, can you imagine how much punishment we're going to have to call to out the fire? Please.
Wow. Okay, we could go on and on with that situation, but as we say, we're living in a crisis. And
it's a crisis, man.
On all aspects. But I want us to look ahead. Labor Day is coming up. The workers in Antigua and Barbuda have indicated to their union, the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union, that they have had enough. They are fed up and they have no confidence in this government. As such, the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union, as I said, reached out to the UPP to join them or to stand in solidarity with them for this Labor Day. So let's talk a little bit about the industrial climate quickly, and then we talk about the plans for Labor Day.
First, let me commend the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union for taking a very strong stand in defense of their workers. They have obviously taken the view and taken the position that with all that has been going on over the last year, and indeed over the last 2 or 3 years, that the workers of this country have been taken advantage of in every possible way. The government of Antigua and Barbuda has done little or nothing for the workers of Antigua and Barbuda. You can list going down. You start with the machinery that exists for the resolution of industrial relations conflicts. And the industrial court, it's still understaffed. The backlogs are still there. There are constant complaints that people can't get their matters heard. I want to commend the persons who work there, those who are currently serving on the various panels, because I know they have an enormously heavy workload and a very difficult task, working as they do in these conditions where they are understaffed and the panels are not properly arranged so that the matters can be adjudicated upon. The same thing can be said within the Labor Department, under-resourced, and we've heard those complaints time and time again. The issue of the minimum wage, that the last time there was a review of the minimum wage was in 2013 when the United Progressive Party was in government. They've been in office for 8 years, and it's only a few weeks ago that 𝘾𝘼𝙋𝙋 Benjamin, the Honorable 𝘾𝘾𝑼𝙋𝙋𝙍𝑎𝑏 Benjamin, that he decided that it's time for the minimum wage to be reviewed after I raised it on the platform at a public rally. And within a week, he said they're going to convene the Minimum Wage Commission, which is a requirement under the Antigua and Barbuda Labor Code. It's a requirement in law that the Minimum Wage Commission is to be established. I think it's every other year or every 3 years or something like that. And they've been in office for 8 years, and they have not sought to review the minimum wage. And now you hear Prime Minister Gaston Brown, now that he's taken time away from his farming and his many other activities and decided that the people are suffering, so he has to give them something, he now says he's going to raise the minimum wage. He said it just a few days ago. Now he's saying it.
Yes.
For 8 years he never said that. We said it.
Yes.
And now he's saying it. And they had a duty, not just a moral duty, they had a legal duty to convene the Minimum Wage Commission. They never did it. And now that they believe that the election is going to be soon, we now see all the hustling and the bluffing, trying to impress people that they care about workers. So I'm talking about the fact that the minimum wage has been ignored, the fact that they have not given the public sector workers any increase. And let's face it, on our record as the United Progressive Party, in 2005, the United Progressive Party gave all public sector workers a 10% increase. And a few years later, we gave another 8% increase. So within our first 10 years of government, we gave an 18% increase to the workers in the public service. This administration, for all their boasts, for all their bombast, for all the shouting about how great they are, not a penny increase for the workers who work for government. Okay. And then you look at what we did also for the air traffic controllers. I like to say it because I don't want anybody to forget. 38% increase to tobacco, 33% to customs, 28% to the police. That's what we did. You look at what they have done, nothing. So we're talking about workers.
Yeah.
What have they done for workers? Then you'll talk about back pay. Workers are owed back pay for years, cannot get their back pay. All that they come and tell the workers is next month, next week, and unless the workers in Antigua stand up and demand and make noise and picket and stop working, nothing happens. They can't run a country like that. Where unless you make noise and beat your drum and blow your horn and you say, I want my money, else I'm not going to work. That's the only way you get things done in Antigua. So this government is a government that has plunged the country into crisis. Because you don't know. Today, tomorrow, next week, who next? Who will next be coming up on the picket line? Who next will be saying, we're not happy? So I commend the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union, because when you look at the whole industrial relations climate, workers have been taken advantage of. The government does not care about workers, they care about themselves. The government has put nothing in place for the benefit of workers. We had a terrible pandemic. Other countries were able to offer something to help the workers who had been displaced. Nothing for the workers, nothing, nothing at all. And so it is clear, and I agree with what the Antigua Workers Union have put on the table. The workers of Antigua and Barbuda have no confidence in the Gaston Brown-led administration. No confidence. And so we're calling on everyone next week, Thursday, to join us with the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union as we have a public rally down in Point. We're going to be at Baker's Corner next week, Thursday, for a rally. No confidence in the government of Antigua and Barbuda led by Gaston Brown. And then on Labor Day, Monday the 2nd of May, we will be on the streets and we will be signaling and sending a clear message to this government. Time to go, pack up. Time to go, pack your bundle and go. We have no confidence in this administration. And therefore, we'll be marching side by side with the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union, and we will be giving them our full support in terms of showing that the workers in this country have no confidence in the Gaston Brown cabal.
And for persons who might be asking, is this just for UPP members?
No, not at all. We're calling on everyone to come out and march in solidarity with the workers of Antigua and Barbuda to show that we agree that the workers of Antigua and Barbuda have no confidence in this administration. No confidence.
Okay.
No confidence meeting next week, Thursday. No confidence march on Labor Day.
And what about the usual Fry's picnic?
Oh,
Is
yes.
that still on?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And then we want to invite everybody. Come down to Fry's. We have a packed program down at Fry's. We will have an all-local lineup of artists for entertainment. So there will be live entertainment. You have a great time. Lots to eat, lots to drink. Eat a lot, but I don't want you to drink a lot. But have a great time nonetheless. Fry's Way is where it's going to be on Labor Day. And so we just want to encourage everyone to come out on the Labor Day weekend, starting on the Thursday night, at the meeting down in Point, at Baker's Corner. Monday, remember, we're going to be on the streets with the No Confidence March. And right after that, we're going to be down at Fry's Beach. And we're going to have a great time down at Fry's Beach.
Okay, I did ask on our listeners and viewers on Facebook to submit questions, and there's a suggestion that came in. So I hope I'm allowed to give us 2 minutes just to take a quick look at this. Mr. Lovell, just some suggestions. 1, put a special group of people in place to cater for the wants of our senior citizens. 2, special task force to create a skill institution to train our young people in various disciplines. And 3, create a place that will assist small businesses.
Oh, lovely.
Your comments.
And my comments is that wet your hand and wait for us. Because I don't know, maybe there are people can.
Because I'm saying it's in line in some of the things
remember when we said
have,
minimum wage?
yes.
Gaston Brown run and say minimum wage. We say water tank, he run and do water tank. We say water is a problem, he start to scurry and hustle to do water tank. And there was something else that we mentioned that he picked up on us. Everything we do. Oh yes, we said rent to own. He now come with the all wattle and no dog. If you earn less than $3,000, you have just basically some bricks and some cement, and he tell you, you don't earn $3,000, you don't deserve to have anything better, so hold on to this, and it's your job, put in your tile, put on your plaster, put in your sink, you do that, because that's what we think about you. Oh man, it's a disgrace. He should be ashamed of himself. So we're saying, look, the writing is on the wall, people are fed up, workers are fed up, we've had enough of this failed experiment, and they can't call the election soon enough. Several months ago, he said that he's going to make Lovell call election. Well, I told him at the last meeting, call it now.
Yes.
Call election now. That's what you need to do. Call election now. You're so sure. Just the other day, you say you're going to win 17 seats. Well, if you're so sure you're going to win 17 seats, call election now. Call election now.
You might get the date on Labor Day.
Well, make him give the date, because we're ready. And the people are ready.
Yes.
There's going to be a change of government in this country. We're going to get rid of the Gaston Brown cabal.
We're out of time, unfortunately. Your closing comments at this time.
Well, my closing comments would be hope.
Yes.
We are in a position where we will be presenting to the people of Antigua and Barbuda the plans and the programs. We have already started, and we'll continue to bring these exciting programs to the people. One such program which I want to stress is the maintenance of minors program. And that has to do with making sure that we put our children first, and we don't allow our children any longer to suffer, either because a father does not want to or he cannot support the child. But we will put the regular system in motion, so that the fund that we will put in, we put $1 million into that fund, and then once the father is working, we will attach his income, or some people say garnish his income, so that that money goes back into the fund. He has to pay. So we're not letting the fathers off. What we're doing is making sure that children do not suffer any longer. And this is something that we say we will be looking out to make sure that our young children who deserve to be taken care of will be taken care of. So we have a lot of exciting programs that we will release to the people of this country. The UPP has the men and the women. I want to big up and applaud the members of the Redeem team, all of whom are working very hard. They're out there connecting in every single constituency. I want to just tell them to keep on keeping on. We have a mission at hand, and all the executive members of the party as well. I just want to say to the executive members, to the leadership of the United Progressive Party, we've got a job to do. Let us stay focused, and let us go out there and do the people's work and make certain that we bring real change to Antigua and Barbuda.
Captain Harold Lovell, Thank you so very much for another exciting, you were very exciting tonight. Very good. And I wish you all the best. I really wish you all the best. And,
well, it's all of us.
Well, all of us.
So it's not just me, it's all of us.
All of us.
Tuk Moon Saman Bagay.
And of course, next week being leading up to Labor Day, the rally and then the Labor Day celebrations the week after. So hopefully we'll be back on Captain's Corner the following Thursday.
Or something like that.
Or something like that. So until then, thanks again. Thanks to you, our listeners, those on Progressive FM, Progressive 107.3 FM, whether you join us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Thank you so very much for being part of Captain's Corner this evening. I'm Sean Nicholas saying, we love you all. Good night.
Good night.
City East, City East, the Harold Lover. Harold Lover for City East. No stopping him. City East, the Harold Lover. Keep on doing. And yes, he served the community with dedication and dignity. City East knows him well. You people man, Harold Lover.
If you've lost all confidence in this government, it's time to shout it out loud. If you know you deserve better, then now is the time to stand and be counted. The Antigua-Barbuda Workers Union, in association with the United Progressive Party, present a unified workers rally on Thursday, 28 April at Baker's Corner in the Point, starting at 7:30 p.m. The rights of every worker must be respected. The voice of every citizen must be heard. The time to react is now. Cost of living and gas prices go sky high, while salaries and minimum wages remain low. Liat, Cass, and Jolly Beach workers are still waiting for their severance, and back pay for public servants is nowhere in sight. Workers have absolutely no confidence in this government. We deserve better. Come out on Thursday, 28 April, 7:30 p.m. at Baker's Corner in the Point, and let's rally together for the future of Antigua and Barbuda. Let's redeem this land. Let's rescue the soul of this nation.
Action time again.
Monday, 2nd May, is Labor Day in Antigua and Barbuda, and workers are making their voices heard. Enough is enough! Join the Antigua-Barbuda Workers Union and the United Progressive Party, along with thousands of workers, as we celebrate Labor Day under the theme, Workers Have No Confidence in This Government. We deserve better! Minimum wage and salaries remain at the bottom of the barrel, while gas prices and cost of living gone sky high. Still, no severance pay for Liat, Jolly Beach, and Cass workers, and public servants can't get their back pay either. Unemployment and underemployment high. Still, no adequate water. Our pipes are almost dry. We, the workers, have no confidence in this government. We deserve better. Come be inspired by our union representative. Come parade the streets of St. John's with us. Let's send a clear message that workers have no confidence in this government. We deserve better. Join the